Hi everybody and welcome to Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches to build a business on your terms. And you'll see that today the lovely Helena isn't with me, but the lovely Teresa is. So we're swapping one beauty for another.
Oh, lovely.
She's in Scotland delivering a boot camp for Karen Yates today, so a lot of you will see her if you're up in Scotland. She's delivering a wonderful workshop with our good friend. We did it about a quarter ago, so I know the room is packed there and it's a great event. But so what we're covering today is one of those hot topics, which I know I've got loads of comments already printed off to make sure that we discuss, Teresa.
Yes.
But before we get into that, and while I'm sharing this out, and also while people are joining, let's just talk about what we always start with: is the buzz in our business. I know you've had a networking day today, and we encourage all of our members to basically get used to talking about something interesting that's going on in their business. So when people ask what's going on, they're just, yeah, it's all right. You actually say, look, this is going on at the moment. And we've had an absolute load of buzz in our business, even though we should be calming down because it's nearly Christmas.
There's no such thing, right?
We had our Christmas party last week for our members, so that was a great night out at the comedy club. We had lots of belly laughs. We also have got our Connection Hub Connect and Create Day coming up in January, so we've still got a few tickets left for that. I'll put the link in as soon as I've shared this all out, guys, so you can sign up for our Work on Your Stuff Day with us, with 15 other people. And the biggest buzz is next week we have our Connection Hub Awards party Facebook Live. So we've got prizes and awards for all the people that have really taken serious action this year in the Connection Hub, and we'll make sure that you are watching live because you might get a prize.
Sounds fun.
While people are joining, Hun, do you want to tell us a little bit about the buzz in your business?
Yeah, so I guess the buzz at the moment in my particular business, and like you say about the networking, I think networking is so important, offline as well as online. Okay, really connecting with real people. That's where I do a lot of my work. It's face to face, and you can't get a better connection than when you meet another person. It's lovely. And I think when we think about what's interesting in your business, people think, oh my god, I think of something that's really exciting and really interesting, and they're like, I can't think of anything. So I'll say nothing. But we're such nosy creatures as humans. We just want to know what's going on. So you don't need to say much really to be interesting. You know, that's the thing. And so for me at the moment, it's all around niching. It's around personal growth. And when I say, I mean, obviously I'm a business coach, so I work on business growth, but I believe business is personal, like massively. So the work that I do is really 50-50.
Do you know about Power? It's the name of Penny Power's book, Business is Personal.
Oh, it's already been taken, yes. But it is because, like we were talking in our previous conversations, it's you are the business, okay? So you can't coach an inanimate thing. It's not going to do anything without the person behind it. And as humans, we have a lot of blocks. As humans, we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of issues. And those will stop us from getting, where we need to be. And that doesn't matter what level you're on. It's all just scalable. So it's all around personal growth. And when you get to a certain stage in your business or a certain part of your business, it may become difficult again. And so you need to go to the person and find those blocks. And there's lots and lots of transformational personal coaching that you can do. So I'm just starting to partake on another sort of growth journey of my own in order to up level my own business. And so it's really this beautiful balance.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so that's really what it's all about. And also the niche, there's been a few conversations, more than a few, around this beautiful subject of niching. And I think it's very, very important that going forward, people know exactly how they're helping, who they're helping, and in what way, and to be really specific. And we'll talk about the magazine a little bit more when we get to it, but that is kind of backed up in one of the articles of January's magazine. So I think it really is the 2020 thing to be doing.
And that's why we brought you on this live, Teresa, because you are the founder of Coach Magazine. You are on your own journey, and you're a real champion, I think, for the industry. What you're putting out there, how you're supporting them, but also the vocal coaching of actually what you're saying, what you stand for, and what the coaching industry stands for. And I know we've had quite a lot of heated debate, let's say, in the Connection Hub. I've put a link for everybody in the comments that if you're not part of the Connection Hub, then come and join us. But in there, people are saying, you know, we've had people ask questions. I think it was just last month. Somebody was confused whether it was legal for them to even practice as a coach if she wasn't a qualified coach.
Right, yeah.
Other people go in there saying, oh, we think that actually people should be choosing their coaches based on their own empathy and passion and their experience rather than their qualifications. And this has sparked a big debate between people chiming in, and we love the fact that people have different opinions. We honour that as long as people are respectful. But what we wanted to bring you on board for is actually to be that person, the spokesperson, where lots of coaches are coming to you to represent them. And also the readers of the magazine, so you can give some insight into what they're looking for in your directory and places like that when they're looking for coaches. So thank you, first of all, for coming.
It's okay, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's really exciting. I mean, all I really want to do is talk about coaching, help people to find their own way forward, not only with experiencing their own coaching, but in, you know, in their business, in serving others, and if they want to become coaches, because the confusion really about it all is why, you know, was why Coach Magazine even exists in the first place. And there it is in real form. So that's why it exists in the first place, because, I mean, do you want me to tell you a little bit about my journey?
About your journey into coaching, and also why you set the magazine up. That'd be really useful. And anyone that's watching live, I know Brett and people are saying hi, to give us a hi in the comments. And if you're watching on the replay, put #replay so that we can get back to you.
So my journey, obviously I didn't just pop up and become a coach. I've got a backstory like everyone else, and I've been working in sales and advertising and media since I was 23 years old, and that's the world that I've been in. I'm also a holistic trained therapist, so I ran a therapy business for about a year or so. But back then, of course, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have digital marketing, so I had adverts in the paper, I had a brochure, the old-fashioned way, and it was wonderful. But my approach was very holistic then, and is very holistic now. So even though I present as a business coach and people think I'm going to be all about strategy and business, it's not. They're very surprised at how holistic I am. So that comes from back there. I also part trained as a counsellor because I was interested in doing that at one point. And I found that a little bit sloggy because you can kind of get stuck in therapy sometimes. And what I really wanted originally was to be a psychiatrist, believe it or not. And I went through a really difficult period of time when I was quite young, sort of hit me. I had a whole mental health experience, and that really scared me about what the mind did at that point. And I thought, I kind of stepped back from it. And then I went in again a little bit slower later on with the therapies and the counselling. And so that's kind of what I'm made from, if that makes sense. Nice. And then I've always been in corporate and sold media, and I worked in corporate for, quite a fair few years and had real success there. And so I've always been working with people is the point. Right. Working with people, the whole spectrum. Yeah. Yes. And it's always been a lot of face-to-face work, face-to-face sales work. And it's always been about them and what they need, which is why I've been really successful in my sales career. But I didn't really know quite how. I didn't really understand how. And this is what happens when you're good at things and you go forward. You don't really know how, so you can't make it better. Maybe it gets better by chance, or maybe it goes worse. And there's no measure there. And then I had my daughter, and I decided I couldn't manage the corporate world anymore. So I left that and I launched my own magazine. Okay. Before Coach, I had another magazine, which was a monthly community magazine. So this whole model I've done before. Yeah. I won my Bedfordshire Businesswoman of the Year on the back of that model, what I did there, just get that in, and an FSB award as well on innovation, because I made the magazine come alive with an app. So it's very, very techie of me, even though I say I'm not very tech. So my background is in publishing as well. So I didn't just kind of think, oh, that would be a good idea, because there's a lot that goes into it. And cut a long story short, when I did my second business with a magazine, I merged with another magazine. We did that for a while, and I just basically started to get a little bit bored and think, well, I kind of want something else. And I was feeling the pull from my old days of wanting to sort of, counselling, consultancy, all that kind of thing. So I did my research. I started to research, and that's where it started getting interesting, because I always wanted to be an NLP practitioner. So I typed it in, and then the whole world opened up about training and NLP and coaching. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much. So I understand where people are. And I was very clear about what I wanted, very, very clear. But at that point, I'll be honest, I didn't understand about accreditation, accredited courses, all the different words, the coach jargon. I didn't understand it. So I did know that I wanted to train as an NLP practitioner, but it seemed that training was there, and then coach training was here. So I thought, I'm going to have to do two. And I was a bit confused about it all. And I even booked myself on a course, and then I kept Googling, because what we do as people is when we're not totally happy with our conscious choices, our unconscious says, no, I'm not happy with that. Can you just keep going? And we keep doing something. So I thought, well, why am I still Googling? I've booked some training. But then I found my trainer, Steve Payne, and the ACT, and that is Academy of Coaching Training.
Yeah.
And that's accredited by the Association of Coaching. And when I found him and I connected with that course and that training, that bound NLP to diploma level into my coach training as well. So because I knew very clearly what I wanted, that was a no-brainer. But my point in telling you all that, and anyone that's listening, is that if you don't know what you want from your coach training or what it's even about, it's a minefield. So that's how I found the training. And the training that I had was absolutely life-changing. I have to say that. And I always thought it sounded a bit dramatic when people say that, but it really was. And it brought everything that I'd ever kind of known and used in these random ways and skills, it brought it all forward. So to cut a long story short, when I started coaching, I went into the online space and I thought, oh my God, what's going on in here? I really did think there's lots of people doing lots of things. And then as I was investigating, there was lots of coaches who weren't actually coaches, but maybe there was something else. And I was thinking, well, where's the training? I just assumed, actually wrongly, that everyone would have it.
Yeah.
And as I was trying to claw my way forward, like growing my business and becoming visible and all of that, I thought, this really does seem to be a problem, a confusion. And I was seeing a lot of things that even as a new coach, thought, I don't know about this. This doesn't really, and coming from a marketing background, a lot of it, I was thinking, well, this is marketing, this isn't coaching, and that's training, and that's not coaching, and that's just simply telling me what to do. And I just thought, how do people ever know what they want to do? And in order to be heard for me and my business, what I wanted to do, and that mission, that's how Coach was born, really, out of that strong feeling that something needed to be kind of put straight, and there needed to be a voice saying, hold on, guys, this is what you need to understand and have a look at to make your choices, what's right for you. And this is what coaching really is. And that's what I wanted it to stand for. So it was very important to me to hold up the light, really, I guess.
And the magazine basically helps coaches learn about the coaching industry and the different training accreditations out there from individual, but it's also a resource for people who are looking for coaches and therapists, so that they can actually sometimes explore different forms of therapy or coaching that they never before, and go, okay, who's a trainer or who's a coach in that industry?
It's wonderful, because it's the whole collaboration thing. It's the whole theme of collaboration and community, which works a lot better. And that's how I built my last model. And so I wanted everyone to be involved. I wanted that engagement. I wanted to support them. And of course, we're all people. So, the amount of coaches I speak to in the magazine, I think, wow, that'd be amazing. I'd like to work with them. Some of them I have, some of them I'm going to. And it's a wonderful sort of community to be in. But in the center of it all, the sticky center message is that it's upholding professional coach training, or whatever you're doing. If you're an NLP practitioner or if you're a therapist, you are trained in what you're doing and you have a framework. And it's not about who's best, right? I want to just make that clear. It's not about who's best or who's got the longest list of qualifications. It's really about understanding what you're doing and being responsible, the code of ethics, the practice of coaching, the art of coaching. And what it really means, so that you are actually serving your clients in a really, really full and authentic way. And you will understand what that means if you're a trained coach. And if you're not, you might think that just sounds a bit guffy.
Ultimately, you're responsible. These people have paid money. They're trusting you with a lot of the time sensitive issues, life-changing issues, as you said earlier. And so it's your responsibility to actually be professional, have frameworks, have standards, have ethics, all these things. Because I know there are people, when we've looked at the debates in the Connection Hub, where people have gone, oh, this person's done a one-day course in coaching and they're calling themselves a coach, and actually they don't know some of the practices, and they might be doing some more harm than good. And I want to read some of these out, actually.
Yes, yeah.
These are a couple of quotes that came up from the promo post. These people couldn't join us on the live tonight, but they wanted me to put these statements out there. So Ian Kay said that he would suggest some kind of formal qualification is very relevant to the corporate world and less so in the non-corporate. If you're securing private clients, it's probably more about recommendation and testimonials and personal branding to your avatar. From conversations I've had with ICF, is the strongest brand for formal qualification. However, one organisation he's spoken to requires ILM 7. So that's one thing. Let me do one more, and then we'll talk about your view about accreditation.
Can I just comment on that comment, if that's all right? There's a lot in what he said. There's a lot of different threads in what he said there, and certainly corporate organisations, look to ILM. They look to have those credentials because they are offering coaching, they're supporting it into the business, and so it's really important that they know they're trained coaches, and I think that is true. But I think that as a blanket, we are coaches and we're all people, so it's no more valuable there, right? No more valuable there than it is over there. But maybe if you're going to be employed as an executive coach, they're going to want to know that you are credentialed and you've done that. But I think it's just as important in anyone's coaching framework. Does that make sense? I get that.
Then Liz Barron said she wanted to make 3 points. She's singing in a Christmas concert tonight, so she couldn't talk live. But anyone can call themselves a coach and be extremely supportive and have genuine positive intent and benefits for their client, but there's a risk of coaches who aren't trained to potentially do the opposite. As such, their client is not covered by insurance or the code of coaching ethics, as you said. The second point, if they mislead the client and charge for the privilege, they bring the entire profession into disrepute, which is what a lot of people have been saying in one of the debates. The third point is coaching, which involves a lot of advice, direction, opinion, and guidance, essentially misses the point. As a discipline, coaching fundamentally aims to help the client to learn about themselves and empower them to take action and make change from within.
Totally.
So, my question to you is, what's your views around the importance of being accredited as a coach for yourself and for other people that you work with?
I mean, totally. I mean, was it Liz that you said? Liz Barron, wasn't it? She commented on the coach committee. So it's really important. What she's talking about there is true coaching. So when you're giving your opinion, when you're giving your advice, when you're telling someone what to do, you are mapping on all of your views through your lens onto your client, okay? And you are not meeting them where they are at, okay? And that is a coaching competency that you need to learn. Otherwise, we would just do that. And a lot of people do have very, natural sensibilities. They're able to adapt to things, and they may be coaching quite well by default. But like anything in life, when it's going well, they won't necessarily know why. And when it doesn't go so well, they won't necessarily know why. And there's a danger there that obviously the client is the one that's let down. And I think this is where you sometimes get that clash of courses and programs where they're like, well, that didn't work for me. It's not working for me. But the coach is like, well, just do that and that's what you'll get. But that's mentoring, you see. So I think it's very important to thread out the differences there between coaching, mentoring, consulting and training.
And
therapy. Completely. Completely. So
doesn't it?
So to answer your question, my take on, I think the most important thing is to take an accredited coach training course. So one that's been accredited through the ICF or the AC, EMCC, those bodies, that's it, as far as I'm concerned. Everything else are really just accreditation bodies that people can set up. They're different things, but those are the ones that hold the standards, okay, that are measurable. And so I think it's important that the coach training you take is accredited by that. So your course is accredited. Now, when you've done that, you are then you are then credentialed. You're accredited coach, CREDITED. And this is where it gets all muddled up. If you want to then take your steps forward, gather all your hours coaching and process your own accreditation to become an accredited coach, that's your own personal step as a coach. It's nothing to do with your course. So, you know, you can gather your 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 hours or whatever it is that you want to do. And you can then set that process through, get all your logs done, pay your fee, they'll assess your work. And what that means then is that you've been recognised and measured as doing it to the correct standard. But it doesn't make you a better coach than your training did. So they're two separate things. And so you don't necessarily become an accredited coach by doing a course that is accredited. Try saying that after having a few. Do you know what I mean? But that's the pickle that people get into, because they think, I've done the course, I'm an accredited coach.
And that's where this
You're not.
happens, isn't it? Because people are going, well, I've taken this course, but it's actually not by the training isn't credited.
Yes, so the accredited, the long word ACC, accredited coach training, is what you're looking for by the AC or the ICF. So that means that trainer, that coach is delivering something that he or she has put through that process and has been accredited.
Yeah.
And you will pop out at the end of that with your certificate, like mine there, that says, I'm now accredited. Okay. So it doesn't mean that I am an accredited coach, because I'll be doing that process myself. So that's
at the moment, aren't you? You're going
yeah. But that's just about my credibility and credentials. I don't have to do that to be a great coach. I've done the course, and I'm on my journey. And there's lots of people that have lots and lots of qualifications and you know, lots of CPD and lots of supervision and that's brilliant. But I'm talking about base level, really. You know, your first step.
I think that's really good to highlight that, so actually people can start separating the two out and
understand
what it actually means. And I put the links to the main bodies in there for the accreditation side of things in the comments, so people can go and
wonderful.
And I think sort of things when we're talking about in your magazine, you have the editorials on various coaches, so people can learn about them and their experiences. But you have a directory in the magazine. Yes, coaches, consultants, therapists, trainers can actually promote themselves, and this is where and we look forward to being in the January edition.
Yes, you are. Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, exactly.
But what do you think, from a person that's looking for a coach, what do you think they look for when they're looking through that directory? What choices do you think they look for when they're choosing a coach?
And that's a great question, actually, because it sort of alludes to one of the other comments where someone said it's about their empathy, their connection, the other things they're bringing to the table. And you'll only know that when you have a one-to-one, okay, when you have a discovery call. So actually, it's interesting you asked that, Kelly, because at this stage, what this is presenting, everyone is saying, do you know what, guys, if you're looking for a coach, all of these are trained, okay? They have all done coach training. So the one thing you can be reassured of is that they've all started from that block. Now, what they do after that, or how they train, or what their coaching practice is like, what they're like, whether they've got extra skills or not, I don't know. And and that's it. So, but what the magazine is telling them is that the bar is there, that if that's important to you, then you can find them there. And every single coach that features in the magazine is also trained. They've done their training. Okay, so that's important to me, that that's in there, so that people don't have to worry and think, oh, but what does that mean, so if they like to read an article and they think this sounds quite good, they can have a one-to-one with that coach and see, like, they might not get on with them, they might think, oh, I don't know about that. So at that point, the fact that they've done accredited training or not isn't really very important, but it's the starting point, because it is the connection. When you work with someone, we talk about getting the right fit, but I think that part comes after the base framework. And I think people that are coaching as coaches, but they haven't done any accredited training like that, I would just question what they are doing. They're probably doing a great job, and I'm not here to judge anyone, but they're probably training, telling, mentoring, all these kinds of different things, but it's not coaching. And if they then went through a program and looked at what they did then and what they do after that, they would probably go, Ah, right. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that it's clear that it's not about judging people or what they're doing, what they're not doing. I think everyone is doing an amazing job, right? But in this space, I think it's very, very important, and it's just my opinion, and it's why I've done what I do. And we've all got our right to our opinions, but I do think it's important. Some people don't, and that's fine as well.
And I think that's what was said. I think a lot of people are saying in when we've had the debates that their intent was so good, and they've got some life experience that they think can help people. And we're not saying that that's not useful.
Well, life experience is invaluable, but only in context. Like, so a client doesn't
something really sensitive, and you don't have, as you said, coaching is an art. You don't have that tool in your toolkit to actually where, you know, I've been in lots of seminars where they've done open people up NLP wise and then left them completely open and left the room, and you're like, oh my god, that's just like dynamite leaving.
This is what I'm talking about. It's dangerous because people are always quite willing to unpack because they want to solve their problems, right? They want to find a solution. So, you know, you have to be very careful in the coaching framework that there's steps, and each intelligent question leads to the next point, to the next point, to the next point, and in a way that they can pace themselves and can come to that conclusion, and then you can go again. You can't just open up all this stuff, and that's where people will really crash, where they do too much too quickly with an untrained coach or person, and that can be dangerous, you know. And I would always say that I agree.
Well, right, we said earlier about actually this is where people are actually giving some of the coaching industry a bad name because they're not qualified.
Yeah. But again, the word that you used, intention, I don't believe that's their intention. It wouldn't be anyone's intention. And so, you know, and then one of the NLP presuppositions is there's no bad intention. Everyone is doing the best they can. So again, it's not about judgment, it's just about awareness. So if someone is doing the best they can and they think they're coaching well and doing a good job, they're not intending to be dangerous or cause a client harm. Absolutely not. But you know, I just want to sort of wave the flag and say, look, why don't you, if you're coaching, why don't you add the coaching training, the credential, because it will bring so much more, it will richen everything that you already do so well. And I think a lot of people are thinking that way now. I think they're starting to change how they think, which is, of course, growth.
Good. And Trace, how long is the standard training, would you say? How long did you take to get yours?
Okay, so like you say, some can be done in like a crazy mammoth weekend, some in a week. I mean, mine took 7 months. In the article that's going to be in the January edition, there's an article all about coach training with the Academy of Coach Training, and it walks you through all the modules, how it's done, maps it all out, what it's about. So it gives people an insight. So I did mine over 7 modules. And first of all, I was quite impatient. I was like, I just want it. I want to just do it. But you know what? There is so much in there, and there's work to do in between. And then you have to gather all your hours on accredited coach training. So it would have been too much to do in a block. So mine took me 7 months. I did them in weekend modules, one after the other after the other. I did them all in order. You don't have to. So the course I took was quite flexible. And it also gives an NLP diploma within my coach training. So I literally can't separate my coach training from NLP. It is the whole thing. And then I did the difference, and I moved up to practitioner. Right. So that was my journey. That's how long it took me. I do struggle with ones that are shorter, but I do think you can learn a lot in a short space of time.
Implementation, isn't it?
Absolutely. Beat to it. It's the implementation, because I did the course and I did all the training. I did all my hours, and I've got my certificate on the wall. But then I went out and then I started coaching people, and that was very different. Okay, so then that's a whole new. You've got all these tools and you've got your nice shiny kit, and it's like, oh, which ones do I use first and where? So at the beginning, use all of them, right? Use all of the tools. Yeah, and then you start to refine them and work them. So it's just the first stage of your journey, and it's a beautiful journey. Coaching, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm so looking forward to future years. I wish I'd done it years ago, but I wouldn't be who I am now. So it's like, wherever you're at, now is the time. Okay, now is the time. Don't worry about what you haven't done.
It's about the CPD. It's about the continuous learning, because if you're always being coached or in a program, then obviously you become quite stagnant. And I completely relate to what you were saying. I've literally just finished the 2nd level of my coaching constellations training. So one, and there was an option to do it all in 1 week, and we had a break of like, I think it was 6 months or something in between. And the same thing, could have done it in 1 week, but actually that time in between to digest it, to practice it, just makes so
a lot happens up here when you're training. A lot happens. You go through a lot of personal shifts. You're going to hit blocks in that coach training just by its very nature. And you know, we did a lot of values work. So like Steve is a big values coach, and therefore I'm a big values coach. And when you start working on your values, believe me, everything changes. And so there's a lot of personal work in there as well. So everyone is different. What you need to do is just look at the courses that are available, look at the trainings that are available, explore the different options, speak to people. You know, speak to me. I'm always there for conversation. You know, with anyone, I'm a real person. I speak to people a lot about coach training, and share my experience. But they might think, oh, I don't know, maybe that's not for me. They might do something else, where they do it in the week, or they might go to the coaching academy and do the weekends. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But just make sure people find the right foundation and they understand the importance of the boundaries, the ethics, the relationship, and everything. You're dealing with another person and their mind, their thinking. It's super responsible.
But I've got Brett saying here, I think it often comes down to the coach's motivations. Everyone does their best that they can with what they've got. With the solution you just mentioned, inexperience can easily make things more difficult for a coachee. Yes.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. Because you're only ever working with the motivations and the intentions of your client. And if you're not trained, those lines will blur very much, very easily. And so to be able, I mean, with NLP as well, it's the perspectives work, but always, you know, it's like, you can't just tell someone, look, come over here, over to my side, it's brilliant, do this. And you're like, well, no, I'm kind of like over here. So with your client, you have to meet them where they're at and you go with them. And then you bring them round in their own way, what they need to achieve. And that really is beautiful. But you can also take care of them during that process and yourself. Like as a coach, we need to protect ourselves, and the boundaries, putting the boundaries in place is extremely important, I think, as well. So yeah, he's right. And it's only an experience and lack of knowledge why any of us might make mistakes in life, and we all do. Again, it's not judgments. It's just really helping people to understand a bit more so that they can make better decisions. Yeah.
So I know that I've put the link to the Coach magazine in here for people to. So I know you can become a subscriber, guys. You just go on that link and you can.
It's free.
Free, or you can get the physical copy as well. And just tell two things, just because I know that you've got to go and pick your daughter up from school.
Real life, yeah.
Tell us about what you want the vision of this magazine to be, how us, Seeker Insight and the Connection Hub members can help you. And also, I know that you've got a sneaky Christmas offer for the directory for our members as well. So do you want to tell us?
If they're really quick, So the vision of the magazine, obviously, each like anything, you know, you start and then you develop it and it grows and it evolves. And that's a beautiful thing. So, you know, this really is a whole coaching experience in growing it itself, which is lovely for me. But I really want to kind of unite, you know, globally, all the people that are like-minded. And it's, you know, the strap line is educate, empower and inspire. And if it can do one of those three things, that would be amazing. That's my mission. And if people can say, oh, I see it really clearer now, you know, what coaching is, what it isn't, and they may partake on their own coach journey, or they may start some coaching and have a positive experience and grow to be like a better human being, a better coach, better person. Everyone that's interested in anything like that, just like, come and join us, come on down. It's great. So that's the mission, really, is just to the ripple effect is what matters to me, the ripple effect. And that's why it's free at the moment to share and travel, and it has done, because everyone is happy to share. And that's why it's ended up on the other side of the world, like already several times, which is amazing. So you never know what you can achieve or what can happen. And that's why coaching is so beautiful.
That central place, doesn't it, for people to get the information, but also vicariously learn through what
it's a resource
doing, and also have the directory as well, where people can
the directory is important. So the directory, of course, is what supports the magazine, so that is absolutely marvelous. At the moment, of course, the print spaces are limited. I'm going to be taking Coach like online formally next year, and there will be an online directory as well, which of course is limitless, so that will be able to grow and support more of the work we can all do together. But at the moment, the listings are £75. and they run up until next July. So that's for 2 printed editions and all that time online. And then come July, there'll be an annual renewal, because I realised that everybody would be on different schedules. Nightmare. So that's how I'm going to do it.
It's a quarterly published magazine, isn't it?
Quarterly publication, yeah. And all the links in the online digital PDF are all SEO optimized. The links are live straight to your website, so people can get to you straight away. It's not just, I mean, obviously in the print, it's kind of flat, if you like, but online. And people look at this, they're like, oh, look at the gallery. It's like, you know, all the coaches in there, and people love that.
They're a hub member. They're a hub member.
Yeah, they go to the back first. Anyone I show it to, they love to look at all of that and see who's doing what and where they are. And people are getting business from it already. So the special offer I've got for you guys, and I truly, it's no marketing stuff because we're on the deadline. I only have a few spaces. The categories are business, life or wellness, consultants, mentors, or therapists. And I'm going to do you an offer of anyone that books, like literally now, they can have it for £50.
So we're going to leave that. If you want to, Teresa will contact you. Just put yes in the comments if you'd like to learn more about the offer. But today is, what's the date today? It's the 10th of December. Because we've got our publication date and lots of people watch our lives on the replay, this is only available for 48 hours, right? So that's until the 12th. Yeah,
unfortunately, not to try and squeeze anyone, because there's always the next edition, right? But it's just because I am literally on the deadline. So the more that comes in, the more difficult it is. And because it's such a special offer, it's like kind of grab it or not kind of thing. And then next time I can let you know as well, you know, if anyone's interested.
You can connect with Teresa in the hub. I put the link to the website, and it's got all your details and your social media on your website too, so they can connect anyway. I know. Yeah, and
if they want to be part of the coach community as well, that's just a free group where we all talk about coaching. Absolutely fine if they want to join that or have a chat.
Love about your magazine is that you don't do advertorials. The fact that you don't get paid, everyone that you feature in there is because you know them, you like them, you've investigated them, you want to profile them because they are around with your vision, your ethics, and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's very important, because you know the model may change in some ways going forward, but I will always be selective. And I can do that because it's my magazine, so I want people that align.
Honey.
Well, really, yeah, this is what we teach everyone, right? So we'll practice what we preach. And everyone, I spend a lot of time like this talking to coaches, and I spend a lot of time talking and exploring that to make sure I'm not advocating them, I'm not recommending, but I'm saying they align with me and what I do as well in the mission of the magazine, and I like their work. So that's what's presented in there, and that makes it more desirable as well. You know, it's hopefully more desirable rather than just you can pay a few £100 and be in it. You know,
it's more authentic, it's more trustworthy.
Yeah, it's a better model. Yeah.
So I know you've got to rush and get your little kitty.
Probably thinks I've forgotten her. Abandoned my child.
We thank you very much.
Thank you.
A lot of people that watch the replay, 80% of people watch the replay rather than
live. I hope that's helpful.
So
it's been a pleasure.
Any comments, and we'll put the links. We'll keep it going for the next 48 hours for people that want these.
Lovely, Kelly. Thank you so much for letting me come into the group and talk to you all. And good luck to everyone with everything that they're doing. You know, it's amazing.
We're all in it together, guys.
We are, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. All right. Well, take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.